everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, January the 7th. Race number 8 at Santa Anita. Graded stakes action for newly turned 3-year-old fillies. This is the Santa Ynez. Let's take a peek at this field. Only 5 in here, but a very impressive debut winner from the Richard Mandela barn. The number 1 Copon steps up in class. She's well bred and she sure looked good first out.
Yeah, and she finds a good spot here. I mean, it's hard to believe, Dan, after going through the colt race for this division that's going to be run Saturday. You wouldn't think that they could get a less competitive field together, but they have.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race. Copon sort of mid-moved on the outside in her debut. Tambo, the number 2, chased a loose pace setter in the Ynez through some fast fractions. Maybe Tambo, the number 2, won't have to work as hard to make the front this time.
She can make the lead in here, to be sure, especially the way this field shakes out. The interesting thing about the 1, though, Dan, is who has the highest late pace rating in this field. It seems like she could have been on the lead in her debut if they wanted it. They just didn't want it. Breaking from the rail here in a graded stakes race, they might be going to the front.
Yeah, she broke sharp in her debut, Copon. We're going to take a look at the video of her career debut. She eased up on the outside, and this is how you want your first-time starters to win if you're thinking stakes down the road. She was bet off the board. She cruises into the stretch with the lead. She goes about her business, earns a rock-solid 83 buyer, and she's got pedigree. She's a half to Amy's Flatter, a graded stakes winner. She's a half to Amy's Gizmo, who I think was second in the Queen's Plate and was a Canadian Classic winner as well.
Yeah, big pedigree, really nice connections, a really, really nice looking debut there, as you've already mentioned. Just sort of ridden out in that race. Could have won, she won it as easy as you could have won for a first-time starter. And she did it, Dan, as we've already mentioned. You go back and watch the full replay. She broke very well. They just didn't want to lead with her, and she was very professional sitting off the pace. She's just going to take a ton of beating in here.
Yeah, watch that replay by clicking on the comment line, short comment line in your Formulator past performances. Tambo is the number 2, and last time out in the Ynez Stakes, Tambo didn't make the lead. She was chasing an odds-on favorite that ended up faltering to finish 3rd. She eventually gets the lead from that horse, and despite flashing her tail several times in the stretch, she digs down and has only beaten a nose by Nothing Like You, came back to win the Grade 2 Starlet with a 79 buyer.
Yeah, the winner of this race is actually in really good form for Baffert, and she fires a good one here to close down Tambo at the end. Listen, it was very close at the finish. To me, it felt like the winner of that race was much the best considering the run that she put in, but this horse ran fine in there and looks like the main threat to the favorite.
Bossy Bruin Gal is the number 3. This horse is seeking her 3rd consecutive win as she continues to step up the ladder for trainer Doug O'Neill. She graduated at Del Mar for a $32,000 tag. Here she wins for that exact same tag at Los Alamitos, and she got the right setup from off the pace.
Yeah, she did. She's going to wind up getting clear here with time in the stretch, and she's going to get the job done at the end. Listen, I can appreciate that she's in good form right now and just sort of heading the right way. She looks like she's in way over her head against this field.
Petit Filet, the number 4, well, all 3 of her starts on dirt have come against fellow Calbreds. Here into stakes placing 2 starts back. They tried to send her 2 turns last time out at Los Alamitos, and maybe that just didn't work out for her. So she cuts back in distance, but she's really going to have to improve from a buyer standpoint.
Yeah, it just has to improve by quite a bit. I like her cutting back in distance for this, though, Dan. I mean, it didn't really seem like she wanted the 2-turn mile last time. Listen, she wasn't close to winning 2 starts back, but she was really game to be second in there. It feels like she's in too tough here, but her overall form's fine.
Completing the field is the 5, Don't Bring Crazy, a maiden winner 2 starts back. They ran her against Tambo in the Ynez, and she loomed very briefly on the turn outside of Tambo, and then she just couldn't keep up in the stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if she takes a slight step forward. That's what 2-year-olds do this kind of year, but she may need a significant move upward in order to beat this field.
Yeah, it feels like both of O'Neill's horses are in the same boat in this race, where they're doing well right now and maybe getting better with every start, but they just got to improve. It seems like they got to improve too much against this field.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for the Santa Ynez. Copon, I think, just found a really good spot for her stakes debut, Mike.
Yeah, just based on what they pulled together to run against her here, it's hard to bet against her. She's going to be very short, and she's a very likely winner.
Very promising filly. Might have to run down Tambo, who could be loose on the lead in the stretch. We'll see how good Copon is in the Grade 3 Santa Ynez, the DRF race of the day. Best of luck.